Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Formula E Season 10 opener watch along. My name's Aaron. This is AHGP, but most of you probably know that already. We are gearing up for the opening round of the Formula E Season 10. Mexico City hosting the opener again. Pascal Wehrlein is on pole position. He won 2 races last season in the opening 3. Jake Dennis, of course, won the season opener before going on to become world champion. Straight away in the chat, hello to CC Andreas. Thank you for joining me. How are you this evening? And are you looking forward to some wild Formula E action? I am not anticipating that the UK audience for this season is going to be huge, to be honest, because it's now gone behind a paywall, which is incredibly disappointing. Which, yeah, it's never ideal when sports go behind a paywall, because the reality is not everybody can afford them, sadly. And we all want to watch exciting racing, and Formula E is exciting racing. Last season was tremendously exciting at various points. And to be honest, I think we could be in for an exciting race today, because we've got a bit of a wild lineup on the grid. Wehrlein, I didn't expect to see on pole position, but Sebastian Buemi, regularly a very good qualifier, not usually so strong in the race in the Envision car. And obviously Porsche started season 9 really strongly, winning all 3 of the first 3 rounds, at least with their powertrain, because obviously Jake Dennis is an Avalanche Andretti driver. So it's going to be an interesting front row. Max Gunther in the Maserati is a bit of a wild card there in 3rd. But then I think you've got the 2 favourites, not just for today, but for the championship. And that is Nick Cassidy and Mitch Evans, both in the Jaguar. They start 4th and 5th ahead of Jake Hughes. So there's lots of strong drivers in that top 6, which I think is going to make this race mightily interesting. And I suppose the big shock from qualifying, and I missed qualifying because I wasn't in to watch it, is Jake Dennis, the world champion, in 14th position, which I'm sure he will be very disappointed with that. Hello to Tom in the chat. It is on TNT Sports now, Formula E in the UK, but it might be on different channels in different parts of the world. So whether you can find a TNT Sports stream, I don't know. That's entirely down to you, I would suppose. But yeah, Jake Dennis, only 14th. They're saying he made a mistake on his lap, so he was eliminated in the group stage. And he's got a lot of work to do. Who's ahead of him? Obviously his teammate Norman Nato is. Sam Bird has looked quick. John-Eric Verne and Stoffel Van Dorn, who are both former champions in the DS Penske's, are also ahead of him, as is the other envision of Robin Freins, who is back with a front-running team and clearly back on form. But of course he has mixed memories of this circuit last year. It's where he broke his wrist and was out for several weeks. Nick de Vries is sadly picking up his Formula E career where his Formula One career left off, and that's at the back, and he's alongside Dan Ticktum, who I'm sure will be going full send. And that team is now no longer Neo, they are now ERT, or ERT, as we might start referring to them as. And also, Antonio Felix da Costa has just caught my eye. Only 16th in qualifying, which I'm sure he will be highly concerned about. So it's going to be an interesting race, I think. Yeah, it is a shame it's now on TNT, because Formula E has always been exciting, and I think for a product that wants to grow its reach, putting it behind a paywall, we saw what happened with Formula One. It went behind a paywall and the amount of viewers just got slashed. It's, some people don't have the money, some people don't want to. It's difficult, and that's just the inherent problem with a lot of TV stuff at the moment, media. There are multiple platforms on which to watch different things, so you need several different subscriptions which all cost money to be able to access them all. I mean, in the UK for football, we have 3 different channels which you can watch Premier League football on. Sky Sports, TNT Sports, and Amazon Prime do a few every now and again. And of course you get the FA Cup on BBC and ITV, and the League Cup. Other competitions are on other channels as well. So it's a bit messy. You know, you can't just watch all the games in one place. If your team is, like my team were on TNT Sports today, so I need a TNT Sports subscription of some form. I'm very lucky in that a family member has TNT Sports, so I just borrow theirs and they allow me to do it, so it's fine. But yeah, if you don't have that luxury, you can be a little bit out of luck. But I suppose that's just the way things are at the moment. We are counting down the minutes then before the E-Prix gets underway. We'll have 36 laps around the Mexico City circuit. It's very similar to the Formula One layout, just a small variation where they turn right about halfway down the pit straight and navigate their way to the back of the circuit. So, it says on the website there's been an increase in attack mode for Jakarta. That can't be right. Yeah, that doesn't... It's definitely not Jakarta, is it? Anyway, I think they mean Mexico. 8 minutes of attack mode across 2 activations, and you can run a variation of 2 minutes and 6 minutes, 4 minutes, 4 minutes, or 6 and 2. It's a 35 lap race, so I'm not sure where they get... This doesn't make any sense, this live blog post. This live blog post is completely skew with. Well, as I was saying, anyway, I will bring up the live timing when that appears. It's currently just a live blog. And that's kind of where that information has come from. But that information seems to be bogus. I'm not sure if that's correct, because it's been showing me everything else that's Mexico E-Prix. But anyway, we will move from there. There is a poll in the chat to see who will win the opening race. We've had 9 votes already. Pascal Wehrlein has a third of those votes. Max Gunther has a third of those votes. Sebastian Buemi, who starts second, doesn't have any votes. Poor for him. And there are a third of you saying that somebody who's not in the top 3 will win the race. So if you're one of those people who said someone other than the top 3 would win the race, put it in the chat and we can discuss as the race unfolds. And of course, energy management is going to be very, very important. We're just seeing some previous highlights of races in Mexico. And I believe we've got a new commentary pairing as well. I'm going to turn my desktop audio on now, so hopefully you'll now be able to hear the dulcet tones of Jermaine Genus, ex-Premier League footballer, who now is a TV presenter. I mean, he's following in the footsteps of Gary Lineker in that sense. So they've beefed up their TV crew, I think, because obviously Vernon Kay left to go and do radio for the BBC, and it was all a bit messy after Jack Nicholls left. You didn't really know who the commentator was. Now it's going to be Tom Brooks. I believe it's Karen Chandok who's going to be in the commentary box with him, but I'm not 100% on that. We'll wait and see. We are almost ready to go. The cars will do a couple of burnouts to, well, maybe just one, I think, to their grid slot. No full formation lap like you'd find in Formula One. And then we'll be ready to go racing, I think. And before we do go racing, just a little thank you again to everybody for helping me reach 500 and plus subscribers. We're now well on the way to 600, which is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much for your support on that. And if you're new here and you like Formula E or you like F1 Manager, that's what we do here. Make sure you subscribe and leave a like on the stream. It's hugely appreciated. We've got Usain Bolt now on the TV. I believe he's driven a Formula E car. Here we go. He's driven a Formula E car around the circuit. This is mad. I mean, for a bloke who's 6 foot plus to fit in one of these, that's quite exciting. And obviously they're doing what they can to big up the brand and get eyes on the series. But Formula E is one of those strange categories that people fall either side on. Some people don't like the noise, some people don't like the way the cars look. They do look like flying Doritos, I will give you that. Especially the McLaren because it's orange, it looks like a cheese flavoured one, but we'll just have to look past that and enjoy the racing. It is some of it is a bit gimmicky, but you know, if you just left physics to be physics, I think we'd just run into the same problems. So it's about finding innovative ways around it. Here's the circuit, Hermanos Rodriguez. Then 19 corners, including the Peraltada. I think it's David Coulthard in the commentary box, which actually, yeah, pretty cool. DC, I've long been a fan of. My driver growing up as a young boy in the 1990s was David Coulthard. So hopefully you can hear him too. If you need me to turn it up a little bit, I will. But it is De Vries and Ticktum on the back row then. Oliver Rowland and Lucas Di Grassi 20th and 19th. We're going in descending order. Sete Camara and Jehan Daravala in his debut Formula E race. Antonio Felix da Costa and Eduardo Mortara line up alongside each other. Mahindra with their highest driver there. Andretti lock out row 7. Nato ahead of Dennis. Then it's Muller behind Bird, who said he missed the flag in qualifying, which is why he was eliminated. Verne and Fenestrazen, all French, 5th row. Then it's Stoffel Van Dorn and Robin Freins. And now we'll have the top 6. There is Jake Hughes, who I think is the top Brit in qualifying. Then there's Mitch Evans in the Jaguar, who missed out on the championship again last season. Nick Cassidy, now his teammate, an all Aussie Kiwi. I think they're both Kiwi, aren't they? All Kiwi line up for the Jags. Then Gunther in P3. Sebastian Buemi, the Swiss driver, in P2. And Pascal Wehrlein lines up on pole position. So we are just seconds away now from the start of the season. So I can switch to the watch along screen and we can start getting the timing up and running. Although this will be slightly ahead of what we're seeing. Sorry, I'm just trying to do this all at the same time. Here we go. And we'll drop that down. Lovely stuff. All right. Usain Bolt is ready to rock and roll. We are ready to rock and roll. I think the timing is updating on the screen before we've actually seen the start, so I'll try not to look too much at that. Just the perks of watching it on your computer. It happens with all sports. Unfortunately, there is no pause function on it, so the lights are out, the race is on. I've already missed it. There we go. There's Robin Freins who's slow away. It's a great start for Pascal Wehrlein. And Buemi has to defend firmly to protect P2. Fenestraz has got ahead of Verne. Bird is up to 10th. Dennis leaping forward 3 positions. Verne takes back the position from Fenestraz. And Wehrlein has gone a bit deep into the double right there. Freins looking to make some recovery positions. So it's as you were for the top 7, I think. I think Van Dorn was P7, or was he behind? No, he was behind Freins, I think. So he's gained a position. Bird seems to be dropping down the order. What's happened to him? Lost a couple of positions. Into the stadium then. They've made it even more Mickey Mouse than the Formula One layout. We've got a yellow flag. Is that Fenestraz dropping back down the order, or is it just... It might be Degrassi, actually. He's dropped to 21st and last. There is... And he's got the rear light, the rain light hanging off. So it was a fairly clean start, and we are racing up and running in 2024 with top level machinery. And there is Robin Freins scything past Nico Muller, and there's a car running wide. That is that Muller? Oh no, it's Daravala who is in the Maserati. The asphalt at turn 3 looks incredibly dusty and dirty. Sounds like Fenestraz has got some brake temperature issues, having to confirm the brake temperatures to the team. Alright, so the pole has ended with someone other than a driver that's currently in the top 3 as the winner of the opening round of the season. I think the timing has not updated. Has it updated now? No, it hasn't. Wonderful stuff. So I will just deal with that momentarily. Alright, there we go. We've actually got a yellow flag, and there is the reason why. That's Nico Muller in the barrier. He's got himself going again. And we've got some drivers having taken attack mode. Oh, it's Da Costa who's stopping. That's another yellow flag. That must be related. Hello to Emirates Enthusiast, TNT putting behind. Yeah, it's a shame it's gone behind a paywall. We've covered that. We've got drivers going for attack mode. That's smart because obviously if there's a full course yellow, they get it out. I suppose they get it out of the way because it's not so much of an advantage in these cars. The amount of drag they have, they use up the energy a lot quicker. We've still got the yellow flag. And drivers are going for their attack modes. It's going to be... I will try not to look at this screen. I'm just sort of putting it on the screen for you. Yellow flag still out then. I suppose that is for Da Costa having stopped. Sergio Sette Camara is out of this race. Oh, yeah, that's a... That wasn't really on, was it? That was a day late and a dollar short, as Martin Brundle would phrase it. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Emirates Enthusiast, that a lot of fans who watched Formula E are now going to be without it, because I feel like Formula E on free-to-air filled the void that Formula One left for a lot of people. Correct me if I'm wrong in saying that, but I feel like a lot of people who wanted to watch motor racing but didn't want to pay the large fees for watching Sky Sports, they would wait for the Channel 4 highlights to be broadcast, but they'd get their live sort of fix with Formula E. I feel like it did that. Obviously, a lot of people like myself will just watch Formula E because they like it, but it now going behind a paywall, those people might be, missing out on all the fun. The yellow flag has been withdrawn, and I have just seen something on race control. Pascal Wehrlein is under investigation for a technical infraction. That hasn't been broadcast on the TV yet as I'm watching it, but I'm just seeing it on the other screen. I think that's going to be a overpower, that weird thing where they hit a bump and the power spikes, as the Jaguar of, I think that's Mitch Evans, forces his way back ahead of Jake Hughes as he takes attack mode. Canada Multimedia can't find it live in the US. No. That is such a shame. I mean, there are those websites that you can use to watch things, but wouldn't recommend. They're not always that good, and also they are illegal, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do. But Wehrlein still leads this race. Da Costa and Muller are under investigation for causing a collision. Hello to Canada Multimedia. Thank you for joining me, by the way. So Buemi told to underconsume as Wehrlein is under investigation. Dennis and Nato as well under investigation. At least you can watch F1, but you have to wait till February. Yeah, I know. I mean, that's quite an early start still for Formula One to be starting the first weekend of March, and first practice in Bahrain will actually be in February, which is bonkers. And I was talking to some people on the GridTalk podcast about this morning, that the season doesn't end until almost the middle of December. 24 races is just astronomical. It's live on Roku. What is Roku? Is that a TV channel out in the States, Canada Multimedia, or is that a website? Commentary box are speculating. Well, also Corinne Chandok is in the commentary box. I was right about that. So I was 50% right on Tom Brooks's partners in the commentary box. Wehrlein has now lost the lead because he's taken attack mode. Norman Nato, no further investigation on his technical infraction as Dennis takes attack mode. Hello to Johan. No worries for being late to the stream. Not a problem. Roku owns Now TV. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Are they US based then? Cassidy sets the fastest lap of the race now. So I think my stream is about one lap behind. We've now got a yellow flag, which I can see over here. We're not seeing it yet on the TV feed, but we will in a minute. What I might do is just cover this up over here so I can't see it. There we go. It's weird the Formula E starting this soon. Yeah, but they finished their season in like September. I think, let me see, when's the London E-Prix? That's the season closer. So, yeah, July. Their season finishes in July. So, it's slightly different. They don't have as many races. Bits and bobs. The championship's still growing, but maybe one day it will be as long as a Formula One season. But actually, the Formula E campaign starting this season is kind of, like Emirates Enthusiast points out, it's normal, but it's also good because it gives us some racing action sort of through the winter as well. I've just got a bit of hair on my glasses, which is annoying me. Oh, that's a green car. Robin Friends in the wall. Has he Oh, that is a lot of damage to the car. And we do have a full course yellow. Frien's saying he doesn't know what's happening. And there is the full course yellow. So everyone will be slowing down. I don't know if this means we get additional laps. So Frien's and Mexico, not good. Because that's the second year in a row that he's crashed out of the race. That is a tricky spot for the cars to even get through. Oh. Wow, they're going to have to go fully on the curb to get past this car. And we do eventually have a safety car. This could even be red flag territory. Well, they should be able to get... Yeah, they should be able to do the safety car through there. That's fine. Kanda, who is your friend on the radio? Would that be Scott Elkins or would that be Robin Friens? Where's Friens? There he is. Has he had contact? Oh, he's just dropped it. No. Oh, dear. That was a bit unfortunate. I want to see that again, actually. Here we go. Oh, he's just taken a bit of curb and lost the back end by the look. And actually, there was a car coming past him that was very close. Scott Elkins is your friend. Explain, expand, tell us how and why that has come to be. And also, what's he like away from the racetrack? So, safety car deployed. And here's the order then. It's Buemi, Verline, Gunther, Cassidy, Evans, Hughes, Van Dorn, Dennis, Nato and Verne, the top 10. The two Andrettis have actually made solid progress early on here. Nick De Vries is driving for the Mahindra team. His teammate is Eduardo Mortara. And De Vries qualified last. Maybe on a private chat. Okay, no problem. No problem. Just looking at a replay of the start here, and you can see the two Andretti cars. Well, I think that was Dennis. Almost fully off the road, unless that... I know that he would have been on the inside. It would have been Nato off the road. All fairly well behaved through the first few corners. Verline, yeah, he did go a bit deep. Fenestrad's trying to go around the outside, doesn't make it stick. Yeah, Verline just gets an insane launch, doesn't he? He covers the inside, but he doesn't even need to. Buemi's nowhere near him. Gunther thought better of the move on Buemi there. Just decided you can't win the race at the first corner, but you can certainly lose it. Is De Vries good in FE? Well, he's a former world champion. He is probably going to be limited by his machinery this season and obviously readjusting to the demands of Formula E, and this also is not a car that he's driven before. Robin Friens is getting out of the car. He is, it looks like, in one piece, which is good. Can't watch FE on the Roku channel. Not, I would assume that grate is dripping in sarcasm. Very, very unfortunate that it's becoming very difficult to watch Formula E. Right, here we go. We're going to get an on-board with Robin Friens. I think he just clips the curb, and yeah, he's absolutely crunched the left front, hasn't he? Oh. Just a driver error. We've got 35 laps to do, Johan. So we are 10 or 11 laps in now, I think. I think we might be able to go racing on after lap 11. Yeah, so safety car is in this lap. Can see it on my other screen, which is a little bit ahead of what I'm seeing in terms of pictures. So the end of lap 11, racing will resume. And the commentary team saying the race will be slightly extended. They spoke to Roger Griffiths, who is the Andretti team boss, ahead of the race, and he said a top 5 for Jake Dennis was certainly possible. Jake Dennis then said that was bold, but he's currently in P8. Yeah, they've blocked the stream in the UK because it's gone behind a paywall. They want people to pay TNT Sports because TNT Sports will be paying for it. So TNT, yeah, it's such a shame. Just, this is the whole problem with paywalls, is if it's not available in your area, you're very, very stuck, unfortunately. Right, we're getting a look at the energy. The top 4 are at 74%. Then 5th to 10th, which is Evans down to Vern at 75. Nico Muller's used 73. Dan Ticktum 73, or 73 remaining, sorry. Right, let's get this race back underway. And Verline is essentially nudging Buemi to go. And Buemi has caught the German napping. It's a good restart from the Swiss driver. And here we go then. Is anyone going to be looking for a move into turn 1? Hughes looking to defend against Van Dorn. Verline and Cassidy have used all of their attack mode time. That's interesting. They could be... Well, I see that they're in a really good position because they've got nothing left to sort of drain their energy, or they're in a bad position because they won't have access to that extra power. Is the timing not updating? Is it just updated? It's going to pop the chat somewhere. Oh, sorry, I see what you're saying now, Johan. It's 20 past 10 your local time, isn't it? Yeah. So we've probably got another half an hour of racing to go. Dennis has just taken attack mode and dropped to P10. Oh, Verline a bit deep into the double right-hander again. He's struggling to get that car slowed down there, unless he's just really pushing it on the brakes. Buemi in attack mode now. The Da Costa-Muller collision is going to be investigated after the race. Honestly, I don't see why that needs to be investigated after the race. I think it's a penalty for Da Costa. And I mean, he's out of the race, but it has kind of wrecked Nico Muller's race. So it's just one of those things. Typical FIA, yeah, just sort of kick the can down the road and or don't deal with it. Don't actually deal with the problem. Although it's not really a problem, this one, is it? It was a racing accident for which someone is to blame, and that's probably Antonio Felix da Costa, in my opinion. Evans and Hughes now sneaking into attack mode. Verne gets in between them. So we've got 5 drivers in the top 10, all in attack mode. The highest placed one is currently Mitch Evans. Alright, looks like Gunther's going to be taking that attack mode. Been told it's race critical. I think they're targeting coming out in front of Mitch Evans. There goes the young German, and he drops down to P4. And Cassidy has managed to stealth his way into P3. There's Robin Frines in the garage. He's in one piece, which is good. When is the Gen 4 coming? This one still looks hideous. Just can't get used to it. The Gen 2 car was really good. But this one, I think they've gone for sort of more pace in it. So it's going to have more downforce. And yeah, it's not the prettiest design, is it? I think we're going to get like a revised version of it. The Gen 3.5, if you will. Maybe season after this, season after next. And then I think we'll get another one for maybe season 14, maybe season 13, which is... No, sorry, season 12 even. What am I talking about? Which will be, what, 2026 maybe? I'm not quite sure how the rules cycles work in Formula E. That patch of track where Frines had his crash, it's incredibly sketchy by the looks of things. You can hear the cars really scrabbling around for grip. They're really struggling for it. So we are now halfway through almost the race in terms of the laps that we were supposed to do. I think there's going to be a lap maybe added on because we have the safety car. Karim raising a good point there. Gunther not able to use the extra power of attack mode because basically the extra drag on the car, and you use more energy while you're in attack mode, so you need to use it to get rid of it almost. It's not the overtaking tool it once used to be, where you drop position but then you just fly past. It was almost too easy in that sense, and this way it's now not useful. So that needs to be revised with how the next iteration of car is formulated. How does attack mode function within it?
They have confirmed there was a technical issue with the car at the start of the race. They're not quite sure what it is yet until they get the car back. Robin is okay physically, but obviously hugely disappointed of the outcome of this race. So all eyes are obviously now on Sebastian Remy. Also, just a bit of an update, we had confirmation from the ABS team that Lucas de Grassi suffered some brake issues, so that's why he retired as a precautionary measure.
So de Grassi out as a precaution. Brake issues. Never good in a racing car to have brake issues.
we saw in practice, we were expecting them to be fighting for the victory. But it is still early days. There's still plenty of time for the completion of this race to unfold here, Dixie.
Well, it would seem that DC's having some technical issues with his microphone. Can't hear him. Tom Brooks asking him a question. Although maybe all the commentary is lost. Oh no, there's Karun. Alright, so the whole field is actually covered by 13 seconds. There's a bit of a train behind Dan Tickton to not be last. The fight for the wooden spoon, you might say. Buemi just under a second behind Verline. Cassidy essentially the same distance behind Buemi. And then Gunther and Evans. And it's all fairly sort of follow the leader at the moment, isn't it? It's not been a race where they've really challenged each other, unless they're just managing their energy and it starts to explode towards the end of the race. We've not seen too much in the way of like racing, if that makes sense. Actual driver versus driver racing. Not seen. I don't think we've seen an actual overtake into turn one or anything, but yeah, it's this is attack mode not working, and they haven't fixed it clearly. So here we go. Energy usage. Verline and Buemi are 1% lower than Cassidy. They've used 50% of their energy. Cassidy at 51. Verline now 49%. Buemi as well. Who's looking the best? Jake Dennis is doing a great job on his energy. It's only just dropped to 51%. Obviously it fluctuates as they regenerate energy in the braking zones. I mean, last season we were seeing widespread differences in terms of energy usage, but all the powertrains seem to have sort of convened. Verline looks like he's opened up a little bit more of a gap over Buemi. And of course, it's easier to save energy when you're following another car because you've got the slipstream. You don't need to use the accelerator quite as much. That's Evans having to throw a defensive shape against Verne, who's got himself up into 6th. He's managed to shuffle himself forwards. Verne really putting Evans under pressure here, isn't he? This might be the start of the overtaking that we were looking for. But I'd expect the Jaguar to actually have been a bit stronger for race pace. Because last season they were really, really good in races. You saw how I don't know if people whoever was watching last season, Cassidy would regularly come from 10th, 11th, 12th and just end up at the sharp end in like no time at all. His ability to manage energy and the Jaguar powertrain as Daravala makes a move on Tickton, albeit for 16th place. Sadly, we haven't seen it. I mean, Formula E around race tracks, if that makes sense, like permanent venues, it just doesn't ever seem to work quite as well. I mean, we had the mad race a couple of years ago in Valencia where they all ran out of energy because they mistimed the amount of laps that they needed to do in the time frame because they had timed races, and I think that's why they went to laps. Although they still throw the curveball of, oh, we'll add a few. Sounds like the audio is out on the stream that we've got, as opposed to the pictures, because the car is clearly accelerating, but then it was also slowing down on the camera. Tictum has now dropped to 18th and last, so I think he might have an issue. I mean, you can see there has been some progress. Nick de Vries has got himself up 7 places, but honestly, starting last, the only way is forward. Vern up 4 places, Dennis up 5, Roland up 6, Nato up 3. Tictum, even though he's last, is also up 3 places. Here's Verline. Verline being told he's doing a good job, but he was doing a good job for most of the first half of last season, and then he stopped doing a good job. So, I mean, let's not get too carried away with Pascal. Obviously, he's doing very well right now. Here's the big battle at the back. Although that's not really the back. I think that was Sam Bird in 11th place in the McLaren. Verline is easing himself away here in the lead, pulling out that gap. It's now up to 2 seconds. And Dennis is closing in on Van Dorn, the man who he deposed as world champion last season. Van Dorn was defending champion, having won it with Mercedes before they left.
In the lap time last time around between Berlin and Buemi, 1.3 seconds. So, could that have been a mistake?
Don't know actually, because it's not like Buemi's, dropped back down the order. He's still in 2nd place, but you're right. I mean, that lap time was 16.9. It's some way slower than even people. You look further down, something like Fenestraz or Bird in 11th and 12th. They're doing 15.7. So clearly something went wrong there for Buemi on that lap.
Now that gap has really opened up for Verline. It's starting to come back down. I think maybe he just went for it a bit, opened up the gap, and now he'll just look after the car a bit more. Oh, slight mistake from Cassidy there. I think he locked up a front wheel. No harm done. Well, that's good news, isn't it? That Cassidy's been told to get past Buemi. It means we'll start getting some action at last.
They will know each other's energy, even though they don't necessarily know what Verline or Gunther have got. So,
I think Jaguar are seeing Verline getting away and feel that they can still win this thing. But it's their customer team that's kind of in the way. Buemi's doing just enough to keep Cassidy behind. It is that final sector where he's losing out. Gap is growing. It might be a done deal for Verline. He might just need to stroke it home from here. Just manage that lead. What were the lap times? He's 0.3 slower than Buemi. Sorry, that's the best lap time, in fact, that we're seeing up there. Let me have a look. I'll extend the data. So the last lap time, Verline was actually 0.2 quicker than everybody behind him. Gunther did a 15.5. Yeah, no one as quick as Verline last time around. So you can see exactly now how far I can see now at least how far behind my stream is. So Daravala is counting down to his attack mode disappearing now, and he's still got 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining on the TV screen. So we are at least 60 seconds slower with the pictures than we are with the live timing, which is unfortunate because there can be some spoilers there. So if you don't want it there, then I can always remove it. We can make the chat bigger, and we can just listen to the audio. Obviously, I'll be able to see the pictures. You might be able to see the pictures if you're watching at home as well. And the DS Penske is now right on Mitch Evans.
Actually, and of which we should point out, you mentioned he's running down towards the back of the field debris, but his lap time, certainly last time around, he was only 3/4 away from the race leader Verline. He seems to have dropped away in this particular lap.
So this is looking really close here between Mitch Evans and Jean-Eric Vergne coming in towards the Forest Sole. Looking like it's going to be 2 added laps there and thereabouts. We're still waiting for official confirmation of that. You see the crowd there watching on, but
So it looks like we might get 37 laps in the end. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I agree with the additional laps, but then I think the reason is if they race flat out, then there's sort of nothing in between them. The energy management is the energy management is the way that they find their way past each other, maybe. But then, if you could make the cars draggier and make that slipstream effect more pronounced, then you could have flat out racing, I suppose.
Yeah, so Vern Hughes have actually got 2% more, and at that stage, 2%, as we're getting into the final parts of this race, is significant. So actually, that Stellantis powertrain in the Jean-Eric Vergne's car, along with some fantastic driving, has to be said, for Jean-Eric Vergne, is working. He's stuck, isn't he? He needs to gain track position. I think if he clears Evans, he will quite quickly get out of the back of Gunther, but at the moment...
Mitch Evans has been disappointing so far in this race. I say only P5. It's just not seeming to come together for him, and Vergne looks like he might have a chance here of going through. But the slipstream effect just isn't big enough. And the Jaguar had good top end speed by the look of it. Oh, a flick of the rear there for Verne. I think Karun's point he's just raised was spot on. That they are missing a proper straight into a braking zone like the one in Rome, which I don't think they're going to this year. There's others that are escaping me, but definitely, excuse me, they do work. Fenestraz, interestingly, still has 6 minutes of attack mode left. As Sam Bird drops down the order, he's just taken his attack mode, and I believe Fenestraz has just taken it on the live timing, but we are obviously behind with the pictures. Evans very much the leader of this train. He's allowed the top four to escape under very little pressure. He's a little bit wide there at the double right.
Everyone trying to get themselves into position, save a little bit of energy in the slipstream, but also hope to be able to deploy, if they manage to be more efficient, deploy that saved energy to effect a pass.
Lead at the front 1.7 seconds. Cassidy now 1.1 behind. They are just sort of spreading out, and then Evans, absolutely the train driver. The train includes Verne, Hughes, Van Dorn, Dennis and Nato. How many? Oh, there we go. It's just asking the question, how many added laps? And it is 2. It's a good point that Tom Brooks raises, is that Cassidy and Buemi weren't particularly seeing eye to eye at the back end of last season, especially in Berlin. There was some real unhappiness, and in London, as Tom mentioned, which ended up with Cassidy losing a front wing and losing out in the World Championship in the first race. There's Verline, 2 added laps. Verline is just controlling things at the front, it would seem. Very much in control of what he's doing, getting the season off to a great start. He finished second here last season to open up his championship campaign before winning both races in Diriyah, which is the next round again, and that's in a fortnight's time, Friday and Saturday. Sadly, I won't be able to stream either of those because I'm travelling to London on the Friday, and I'm travelling home from London on the Saturday, so I won't be able to stream a watch along for either of them. I might. Oh, that was a bit clunky and slow from Evans, and Verne is right on him here, but he's unable to make the move. Evans again having to go defensive to cover off the Diaz Penske. Evans is 4.2 seconds behind Gunther. He's really struggling. Made that 4.7 now. But the traction is very, very good. That's getting him off the corners and protecting him. Look at the gap he's opened up there to Verne. Looks to me like the top 4 have all kind of settled. Bird reporting he might have damage has just said the car is undrivable. Well, that might explain why he's 14th. Although he did take attack mode. So maybe he's hit a curb. We haven't seen anything. Strange. What were his lap times like? He did 16.2. He was 7/10 slower than Mortara. Yeah, he's really slow at the moment. Aside from Tictum, Tictum's just done an 18.8. He did a 1 minute 20 the lap before. I mean, Tictum is really struggling. Bird is also on the struggle bus. So cars 1 and 94, which are Jake Dennis and Pascal Wehrlein, will be investigated for a technical infraction after the race. So even if Wehrlein wins, he could still be handed a penalty that costs him victory. So it's kind of, he wins, but watch this space. Listening on the team radio, where do you find that, Candor? Where did you find that? That would be the subscriber alert working. I've had it happen a couple of times. Once when I wasn't recording. So when I was I recording? No, I wasn't recording. I was just preparing something, and my word, it made me jump. Oh, you're listening on the app. Oh, okay. I didn't realise it had it. It was there on the app, but good to know for future reference. As we start the added laps, and yeah, it's all kind of, yeah, a bit, I don't know if dull's the right word. It's not been inspiring. It's not been a race to get me off my seat and get me excited. To be honest, the race here last season wasn't hugely exciting, but I suppose it's just maybe the layout isn't particularly good. Can listen to any driver on the official app. Oh, nice. That's good to know. We can always check in with drivers. And Vern was very close there behind Evans. Evans really struggling. And look at this train that he's just formed. Cassidy now with the fastest lap. He's putting the hammer down. It's the final lap though. As someone is very angry in their car driving past my window. And look at this absolute car park behind Mitch Evans. Is someone going to have a lunge? They're not particularly close enough, I'd say. And if they do have a lunge, it's probably going to end in tears. The top four have done a perfect job of managing their energy. Cassidy's even got 2%, but into the stadium for the final time then comes the race leader, Pascal Wehrlein. He started last season extremely well, but it petered out. He'll be hoping that this strong start lasts a bit longer. The car is bouncing over the bumps there. Through the Peraltada then comes Pascal Wehrlein. He's got less than 1% of energy left. He's driven beautifully. An excellent win. Pascal Wehrlein takes the season opener in Mexico ahead of Buemi, Cassidy and Gunther. Evans is going to come home and somehow secure P5, I think. But Wehrlein is under investigation for a technical infraction, so he may yet still lose this win. And so looking back at our poll, it would seem that 33% of you were correct in choosing Pascal Wehrlein as your winner. He finishes in first place, although, as I say, that could be subject to change.
Berline there just now completing his cool-down lap. He's going to have the opportunity to chat to him in just a couple of moments.
Yeah, let's try and get a word with him. Yeah.
Let's see what Pascal's got to say.
Pascal is currently in the commentary box. Superb job for you guys. Pole position and it looked like a pretty easy win there.
We're not quite hearing a response there from Pascal, unfortunately.
Technical difficulties. We can't get the response from Pascal there, but oh,
Yeah, not sure he heard us there, so no, let's have a listen. He still talks to his team, isn't he?
Job for you guys. Pole position and it looked like a pretty easy win there.
hey, there was interference on the radio. Love that. Absolutely love that.
So Pascal Berline
Right, let's switch back to this one. Well, Pascal Verline gets his season off to the perfect start. Cassidy will probably be happy with P3. He will be looking, I think, at Mitch Evans as his main title rival. I would expect Jaguar to become the team to beat in the next few rounds because they really got their act together about a third of the way through last season. So if they can get their car sorted. Oh, he's just left Buemi absolutely hanging. Oh no, I think he walked around the car and sort of bumped fists with him actually. Buemi was just standing there looking for a handshake and Cassidy just walked away. Slightly awkward. Slightly awkward. Yeah, Buemi will be pleased with that, but Cassidy will be pleased to be beating his new teammate immediately, as I think Jaguar will become the favourites as the season goes on. But Formula E it's a strange championship. You never quite know who's going to be on top and who's going to be on top where. I see they're using the same parking spaces as the Formula One cars will. All right, we are going to wrap up this watch along here. That was, I don't know what the best word to describe that race was. It wasn't particularly exciting. It was one of those. It needed something really dramatic to happen to turn the race upside down. But I suppose, like we've discussed through the watch along, it probably is just the layout. I think Diria will maybe be a bit more exciting. You get that long straight into the chicane for the braking zone, so maybe we'll see a little bit more of action there. So thank you very much to everyone who has joined in the watch along. Thank you to the new people who have joined the channel. If you enjoyed, subscribe, make sure you return for more. No Diria watch along sadly, but we will be back for the round after that, which is, if I can just have a look on my phone, which will be Sao Paulo, which isn't until the middle of March. So, yeah. Formula E will have to take a bit of a break then for now. But yeah, we'll have F1 Manager streams and videos in between times. So, yeah, thanks very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the race, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. It's goodbye for now.